Can you just be a photographer? Is it possible to make your own income, your only income, all of your income from photography, and with the caveat that you're not skint? Because yes, of course you can, it just might not be pleasant. So first of all, let me tell you about my journey into this, because I don't make my income just from photography. I call myself a photographer, unless I'm drunk and then I'll tell people I'm an artist, but mostly I call myself a photographer. How can I possibly do that when I don't make all of my money from that? Well, let me explain to you. We have a big pie of money coming in. Sometimes it's not that big, but we like to think of it as maybe being bigger again one day. At the top, my biggest income, my biggest revenue generator is my photography. It is me, the photographer, working under my agent. That is my main income. After that comes me, the YouTuber. Tin House Studios, separate company. It's a limited company. It's its own entity. We make the YouTube videos, we do the workshops, the portfolio reviews, we have sponsorship deals, endorsement deals, all of that sort of stuff. That's over there. Over here, I'm an agent. I represent photographers and I make a commission through Agent at Large. They're my three main bits. We then have investments and all the usual stuff people have. And I think here's the important bit, the usual stuff people have. And this is not financial advice. Chuck that in there quickly. Most people I know who have a 9-to-5 job don't just have a 9-to-5 job. They have investments. They might have a property they've bought to rent out to tenants. They might have money in stocks and shares. They may also have a side hustle. I actually don't know a single friend of mine who doesn't have their fingers in some sorts of these pies. But for some reason, you lovely folks on the internet think to be a photographer, you must only take picture. Nothing else. Stills only. Just pictures. That's it. If you do anything else, you're not real. And I understand it. I've thought this way too. How can you possibly be calling yourself a professional photographer when you make 45% of your income from rental properties, for example? I don't, sadly. I should. Maybe I'll look into that. But here's what I think. What you are and what you tell people you are is entirely your business. You could be a photographer who makes no money from photography. You can go, I'm a photographer, and you work a 9-to-5 for the council, but your life, your mind, your brain is permanently on photography. You, my friend, are a photographer. If you start making any amount of money, you're a professional photographer. Being a professional doesn't make you better than an amateur. Having the title professional doesn't often make you better than an amateur at all. And often if someone tells me they're a professional photographer, I assume they're not very good, because no one who's good actually puts the word professional in front of it. They just say, I'm a photographer. Am I a photographer? Yes, I absolutely believe so. I think about photography all the time. I come to my photographic studio every day. Do I make money doing other things? For sure. I make the majority of my money being a photographer, but even if I didn't, I would still call myself a photographer. If I made more money here on YouTube, I would call myself a photographer, assuming I still practice. Is it possible, though, to just be a photographer in the purest sense of the word? Yes, if I got rid of every other source of income that I make, I'd be fine being a photographer. It'd be all right. I'd have a good life. And you're probably going, well, why don't you just do that then? Well, I don't want to. I want to have a nice, comfortable life. I want to not worry about money. I want to not worry about the next pandemic coming in and crippling the industry. I want to have a busy life as well, because I'm not great at downtime. I get in trouble. I start causing chaos. It's best for me if I am occupied from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep. If there is free time in this window, it goes wrong. For example, I get up, I walk the dog, I do the school run, I come to work, I leave work at 5, I do the dog walk again. I get home, I have dinner, I put the youngest to bed, I go to the gym, I get home, I go to bed. If I have a day to myself and no one else is around, chaos ensues. It is horrific for everyone involved. So we don't do that. We stay busy. But of course you can. Don't look at all the things I do and go, well, I have to do all of that to be able to be, working in the way Scott does. You can just be a photographer. Most people at the place where I'm represented are just photographers. Not many of them have other hustles. Some do, but not all, not many. And often they just have the standard stocks and shares, rentals and all that sort of stuff. They don't do all these extra businesses on the side. It's not normal. It's not the done thing. It may seem that way because if you're on YouTube, you're watching people do that, but we're a minority in this. You can just be a photographer, and I assume you always will be. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.